Welcome to Sleepover Cinema, where we analyze the films that created the collective unconscious of those who know Danny DeVito is a visionary. I'm Hannah Leach.
And I'm Audrey Leach. We are the sister filmmaking duo, also known as Two Pink Productions, and we haven't stopped thinking about these movies since we first saw them.
We're going to explore the good, the bad, and the nonsensical of the movies that first inspired our love for film, in an attempt to answer the question, are these movies actually good? And at the end of the day, do we really care if they are?
Today we are talking about 1998's Matilda.
There was a girl named Matilda.
Hi, Dad.
Get in the car, Melinda.
Matilda!
Whatever.
Who was extraordinary in every way.
Pretty soon you'll be able to do any multiplication, whether it's 2 times 7,
14.
or 13 times 379.
4,927.
Wow. She can multiply large sums in her head. So can a calculator.
But in a world where grown-ups make all the rules,
I'm smart. You're dumb.
I'm big and you're small.
I'm right.
And you're wrong.
in a school where the principal
In this school, I am God!
has no principles,
Yes, Miss Trunchbull. Sir. The Trunchbull used to be in the Olympics. Shot put, javelin, hammer throw.
she will discover
Somebody's gonna teach her a lesson.
deep inside herself
You should believe in whatever power you think you have inside of you.
a secret weapon
I did it with my powers.
to even the odds.
No more Miss Nice Girl.
Hey, dip face, have a carrot.
Nah, you eat it.
Now,
Cookie. You will not leave this platform until you have consumed the entire confection.
she gives power
You can do it, Brucey!
to the powerless, help to the helpless.
Harry, take your hat off.
I can't get it off.
And disaster to those who deserve it. From the author of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, and the unique vision
What did you do to your hair?
of director Danny DeVito, comes the story of every kid's right to stand tall, no matter how small. Matilda.
One little girl with big powers is gonna fuck up her teacher. Not teacher.
Principal.
Okay. Her principal, who's a fucking monster. Hi, everyone. Woo, it's the
Hi.
season finale of season 5. So crazy, Audrey. It's The Climb.
Best season ever. Also, admittedly, it's 10:30 a.m. right now.
The girls are not doing well. Like, we were texting like, I look like hell. But before we get to that, we got to do our hot take of the week.
At first I was like, oh, I want to do like a drag race hot take of the week, drag race related somehow. And then I just landed on a controversial topic, Trixie versus Katya.
Before we decided to do this, Audrey was like, there's no question. And I agree. But I feel like the fact that we said it's no question might be controversial as well.
Like, it's Katya.
It's Katya.
It's Katya.
100%. Which I do find kind of interesting because Trixie tries so much harder.
Yeah.
Like, business-wise.
I have consumed so much of their content over the years that I feel like I do have a well-rounded, I've seen the documentary, like I've seen it all, and I feel like I have a good grasp on like also both their names are Brian, so you can't
It's
even
so
call
funny.
you can't even say Brian, but I have like a good grasp on Trixie's personality in drag and out of drag. And then again, we have to shout out Trixie is a genius for hiring Joey to design things.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. But like the whole attitude of like sometimes she's really mean to Katya.
Yeah.
Like she's mean to her. And I feel like Katya does try to like roll, you know, it all rolls off, but also there's like this hint of realness to it, and I don't like it.
I like stopped consuming a lot of the content because the way that people like edit them, like all the edits on YouTube, I hate those edits that are like Trixie and Katya being bitches for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Anything that's ever like 5 minutes straight, I'm like, no, get it away.
I remember when their YouTube show started and I was really into it. That was probably like 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like really tired.
Yeah, same.
I think they are too.
For sure, but the checks keep clearing, so it's like, why would you stop? Yeah, I think that they're both geniuses in their own right. I think that Katya's personality, she can rely on her personality a lot. I guess I just feel like it's got to be weird between the two of them to a certain extent, and this is like all speculation. It's like very Selena and Demi speculation, but like, because Katya doesn't have to like grind the way that Trixie has to grind, but at the same time, I don't think Katya's goals are the same. Like, she doesn't want to have like this empire of like businesses and TV shows and shit. Like, she's seen the world from both sides now. I just think that their lives are different, and that's fine, but I really like Katya, and I always have. So
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to get into this movie now that we've destroyed the good name of Trixie Mattel on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, so Matilda was released on July 28th, 1996, and was rated PG for, and I think it's fun to add why things are rated the way they are, because it's worded really funny a lot of the time. It was rated PG for elements of exaggerated meanness and ridicule, and for some mild language. So I just thought that was funny. Very notably, this movie was directed by none other than Danny DeVito himself, and there's 3 writers attributed to this movie. So, of course, we have Roald Dahl, who wrote the original book. He is best known for also having written Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach, as well as the BFG, and I hate to say it, the screenplay for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Next up, we have Nicholas Kazan and Robert Swycord, whatever, who wrote the screenplay together. And Nicholas's credits were like a little bit like, I didn't recognize a single one of them. But for Robin, she wrote on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Memoirs of a Geisha, both versions of Little Women, 1994 and 2019, and is married to Nicholas. So interesting piece of information there. Synopsis time.
The IMDb synopsis. A girl gifted with a keen intellect and psychic powers uses both to deal with her crude, distant family and free her kind teacher from their sadistic headmistress. Rotten Tomatoes. This film adaptation of a Roald Dahl work tells the story of Matilda Wormwood, a gifted girl forced to put up with a crude, distant father and mother. Worse, Agatha Trunchbull, the evil principal at Matilda's school, is a terrifyingly strict bully. However, when Matilda realizes she has the power of telekinesis, she begins to defend her friends from Trunchbull's wrath and fight back against her unkind parents. Letterboxd. An extraordinarily intelligent young girl from a cruel and uncaring family discovers she possesses telekinetic powers and is sent off to a school headed by a tyrannical principal.
Audrey's like, this is a reading comprehension test. I do have to say that it kind of speaks to the strength of the story that all of the synopses are so accurate. It's like a very clear story. It's a very clear point of view. It's not like GBF or like any of these other movies we've covered recently where there's like 5 billion different ways to like spin it.
3 taglines. First one is a little magic goes a long way. That's okay. That one's all right, I guess. The second one is kids rule, which is bad. And
Agreed.
The third one is somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world.
Next up with this cast, of course, we have Danny DeVito as Mr. Wormwood. He will always be best known for this role and for having been Phil in Hercules, the goat guy. But he, of course, is also in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Apparently, he had a cameo in the music video for One Direction's Steal My Girl, which I thought was funny. He was the voice of the Lorax from the 2012 version of the Lorax, and he was in the show Taxi, all 114 episodes from 1978 to 1983. Next, we have Rhea Perlman as Mrs. Wormwood, who very cutely is married to Danny DeVito. I just love that conceptually. She was on Cheers. She was is apparently Grandma Ruth in the 13 musical movie that's coming out relatively soon. She's in the upcoming Barbie movie, and she was also on the show Taxi for a few episodes and probably met Danny DeVito there, which is cute. Next, we have Mara Wilson as Matilda, who has done some voice work over the last few years, but mostly is just active on Twitter, is how I would describe her.
Yeah.
She did go to NYU, of course, so there's that. Upon digging into this movie, I discovered that her mom actually died during the filming of this movie, and she just kept trucking as a young child, which is
That's
really
crazy.
Impressive. And I guess that she thought that her mom had never seen the movie, but many years later Danny DeVito revealed that he had shown her a rough cut of what they had filmed before she died. It adds such an emo energy to the entire thing that her mom died in the filming of this, with all of the stand-in mother vibes of Miss Honey and everything, which we're gonna get to this Miss Honey discourse. Speaking of Miss Honey, we have Embeth Davidtz as Miss Honey. She was on the morning show, that recent show, and is also known for this role is her most iconic role probably, but she was also in Bicentennial Man and Army of Darkness. And then we have the unforgettable, iconic performance by Pam Ferris as Trunchbull. What a champion, I have to say. This movie, all of the adults are so good in this movie, but especially the Wormwoods and her, they couldn't be better. They're so good. To me, I was she looks familiar. Why does she look familiar? And it's because, this is so sad, but she's also Aunt Marge in Harry Potter, who, for those who don't remember, it's the lady who gets blown up into a balloon at the beginning of the third movie. This woman has probably seen some dark shit in her life with the roles that she gets. And she also is in Children of Men and Call the Midwife. And she has a really, really long, illustrious career and just seems to be English as fuck. Everything she's in just emanates English energy very heavily. And then, of course, we have Kiami Daviel as Lavender. She was in the movie Bruno. She was on the Steve Harvey Show, Grown Ups, In the House, and Moesha.
All right. So, budget, $36 million. Opening weekend, 8,208,609, and the worldwide gross, wait, really?
Yeah.
Is 33,459,416.
Doesn't that seem impossible?
Oh, that does not make sense.
I know.
At all. Did you look up maybe home video? Does that include home video? Probably not. There's no way they didn't recoup on this movie because it's long-term relevance and popularity. I'm sure they did recoup, but maybe theatrically they didn't.
I could see that. It's such a weird movie. And as we'll get into the reviews, a lot of people were this is too dark for my child. So that may have been part of it too.
Okay, so the critic score was 91%. That's really good. That's insanely good. The critic consensus is Danny DeVito directed version of Matilda is odd, charming, and while the movie diverges from Roald Dahl, it nonetheless captures the book's spirit. Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars, and he said, Matilda doesn't condescend to children, it doesn't sentimentalize, and as a result, it feels heartfelt and sincere. It's funny, too. And then the only Rotten Tomatoes review that could be found is the adult performers fare considerably better than the young lead in this faithful adaptation of the Roald Dahl classic.
To me, that's such like a hating thing to say. It's like,
Yeah.
of course. Like, what do you mean?
They're not children.
Also, interestingly, I saw that they originally wanted to cast Mary-Kate and Ashley in that role, and I thought that was kind of wild. Like, it may have fared better commercially that way, but the acting would not have been better.
That would not work.
No. Also, I thought it was weird that the Roger Ebert review was only 3 stars because he didn't say a single negative thing about the movie. Getting into these audience opinions, we had an audience score of 73% on Rotten Tomatoes and 3.7 stars on Letterboxd. Interesting that the critic score is so much higher, but that does happen. I think that happened on GBF too. Maybe because at the time people were like, I can't rate GBF low or I'll be homophobic. Okay, so here are some Rotten Tomatoes reviews. First of all, we have a 5-star review. This is the best movie ever made. Next, we have a 1-star review. They actually torture kids in this movie. Not like in a joking way, they actually physically torture children. They put them in a tiny room at their public school, which is filled with toxic gases. The walls are covered in long metal spikes, and there's not enough room to sit or lay down. Children are put in this room regularly, even for simple things like coughing or sneezing. They also force feed kids and make the entire school watch in terror. This isn't a children's movie. It's some kind of horror movie involving kids. Not sure why anyone would want their kids to watch this. Just because there's a happy ending doesn't make anything else okay. Because it's not. And then last but not least, tweets from recent-ish times. There's unfortunately a Harry Styles song called Matilda. So that was mucking up a lot of it. But then I thought of Audrey being like, last week, like, did you put movie in your search terms? Like, and so I did put movie in my search terms, which led me to a lot of porn. Because apparently there's a porn star named Matilda as well. So I was seeing a lot of HD images of
If
porn.
you just put Mara Wilson or some
Here's the thing,
other
though. What? I'm going to look
identifying-
it up. I'm going to look it up, and they're going to be like, Miss Honey slays my pussy. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to see it. Like, Miss Honey was the original cottagecore lesbian. I'm like, I'm gonna come to your house and yell at you for not being original. But despite it all, I did find 2 things that I liked. There was one tweet from user Ranastrands who said, Matilda may be the best movie to support the arguments of some of you guys who believe children are oppressed groups. Then the second one, at JR Puffinstuff, LOL. For me, the movie Matilda did to chocolate cake what Dare thought it was doing for drugs. Okay, so cultural context. There wasn't a ton to say, but I did want to bring up the musical. It's like this very, very, very English musical adaptation that is not like this movie at all. It's like way more true to the book. And I actually saw it on Broadway, and I did not like it, except for that one song at the beginning.
Yeah, naughty.
Goes so hard.
Just because you're little, you can do a lot. You mustn't let a little thing like little stop you.
It's so
Let
good.
them get on top, you won't change a thing. Do 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 do.
That song has like no business being as good as it is.
I mean, but here's the thing with the musical is it's actually more accurate to both the book and to the origins of the story in general.
Yeah.
Like, they're British. It actually follows the book plot. And so when I saw the Matilda musical, I was a little confused because I was like, what is going on in here? I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
But shout out to them for making an accurate English version of the thing. Also with the musical, there was some interesting transphobia drama with it because they cast Trunchbull as a man, or like they cast a man in Trunchbull's role. A lot of people were like, that's fucked up. And then a lot of people were like, but is it? I don't know how they're casting it now. I'm guessing they're still casting men because of the way the songs are arranged and everything. But it would be worth some research, so I'll be looking into that after this. When did we first watch this, and what do we remember about it?
I remember it being like a library movie. Like, you get it from the library for sure.
Yeah.
Because we didn't own
Yeah.
it. And it was just like a classic.
I remember watching it at Aaron and Julia's house. I think that may have been the first place we saw it. That opening song, it's like, wait, I would like to. Like, that song really lived in my brain for a long time. Of course I remembered Miss Honey, but I wasn't thirsting for her like some of you bitches. I just appreciated her as a human. The Wormwoods are extremely memorable. Like, you're not going to forget either of them after watching this. It's like so distinctive. And then of course the part right before Matilda like uses her powers for the first time when they're like, time to get sticky with Mickey. And it's like they get all the money on themselves in the TV show. And also, I remember this movie like stigmatized the idea of TV dinner to me for so long.
Yeah. It was like if you eat dinner and watch TV at the same time, you actually are the worst person on the planet.
You are the scum of this godforsaken earth
Yeah.
if you do that.
I mean, most people our age are probably not necessarily TV dinner people, but they're watch something, consume something, and eat at the same time. Nobody our age is just sitting and eating in silence. Like,
No, but they
nothing.
should be.
Yeah, they should be, but they're not.
And that's the problem with today's society.
Kind of.
Everyone's watching YouTube videos and wolfing down their microwavable whatever the fuck. This movie is available on Amazon Prime, but where did you watch it?
It's on everything, but you have to rent it. It's just like not
Yeah.
on anything for subscription.
So give it a watch.
Yeah. Season finale.
Okay, everyone, we are back.
For me, number one thing that's lovely about this movie is style.
Yes.
Style and vision over everything. Because like imagine like this movie through a GBF lens. Like, and I mean like a visual lens. Like if it was that plain, if it was that unthought through, it would be awful. All of his books have a dark side. Clearly this man has gone through some shit.
Yeah.
And I think something I was thinking about in regards to this movie is like if you haven't had a childhood that has had much trauma, you might feel like this movie is a lot. You might feel like it's too much for your pure children or whatever. And most children do have dark sides to their childhood. Like most children don't live in this perfect world. So I think showing them something that has this like edge to it and like this dark side, but if you look at the outcomes of all the dark things, it always ends up okay. And I think that's important. Like when she throws the girl with the braids over the fence, she doesn't die. Like
No.
she like collects flowers and she's okay. So
Yeah. I also, well, first of all, I just want to point out or tell everyone that effect of her throwing the girl around by the braids, Audrey already knew this when I told her, but I'm guessing you guys don't know, which is that was like a little girl on a rig. Not even a rig. It was like a wire, and the actress of Trunchbull was actually swinging her around by these like sewn on braids. And I just loved knowing that. Like you can tell when you watch it that it's most likely real. But they don't do it these days like they were doing it back then. And I just really appreciated that about it. But speaking to like the darkness thing you were saying, when I was putting the notes together for this, people were saying the exact same thing. They were like, whatever happened to him, whatever trauma he incurred as a child, like clearly he never got over, but he did like process it into some really cool art. So at least there's that.
and like that's helpful. That's helpful
Yeah.
to a generation of children. Like I think
Yeah.
if it's not your thing, that's fine. But for the people who it does hit, like the people who do like it will really like it. So I
Yeah.
think that it's a good thing. Like people are scared to make content for children that has dark things. And that's kind of controversial, but I think mostly they can handle it. You know,
Yeah.
obviously you don't want to do like trauma porn type things in children's content, but like they can handle some spooky and some creepy.
Children experience fear. It's not like they don't experience fear, so
It's just the response to it that's different. Like, you know, there's adults who like watching horror, and there's adults who don't like watching horror. It's the same way with kids. Like the way that they respond to it will be different, and there are kids who would want that. I think every kid can relate to staring at a cereal box and wanting it to move.
totally. Well, because it's also the kind of powers where you can be like, if I just try hard enough, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I totally did that. I would just like stare at things and be like, maybe it'll work.
Yeah, like this is the day it's gonna work. Absolutely.
Just the line. I have one line. There's lots of great lines, but like there's one that I really, really thought was funny, and that's when they're in the classroom and the little girl is spelling Mrs. D. They're all spelling the word difficulty. Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. FFI, blah, blah, blah. And then Miss Trunchbull goes, why are all these women married?
Yeah. I also liked in the same scene when, I forget how it came up, but she was like, I like a joke just as much as the next fat person.
Yeah, like what?
What? There was so much in that scene that was so funny. I was like, why is it just this scene that's getting all these really good Trunchbull lines? Like, I don't think I'd watched this movie since I was like a kid, like since childhood, so that was like an interesting experience. But I really loved just like the Dursley family of it all, like fat mom, like fat dad, skinny mom, stupid brother. Like, is it a trope? Yes, but like it's a great trope when it comes to like an evil family. Like, give me that shit. I loved that. I love it in movies when children conspire on the playground about things. That's one of my favorite things in movies. It reminds me of the scene in one of my favorite movies, A Diary of a Wimpy Kid, when they're talking about the cheese touch. It's just so cute. Like, it's just very enjoyable to me. Child conspiracy against oppressive people or curses.
It was, of course, it was as good. I think it was as good as it ever was to me. Like,
yeah.
If anything, does it rush into the end? Yeah. It rushes to the end really quick. The way that the Wormwoods just let her go, they're just like, yeah, it's fine. I actually kind of like it.
Me too.
I like how they just actually don't give a shit. Are they bad people? Are they mean? Yes. But they also will just let her go. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yes. And similarly, in the vein of like not giving a fuck, just going back to like the practical effects of it all, like how it all looks pretty goofy. I actually really enjoy that about it too. Like, it just is what it is. And with the ending, that does feel really true to the book though. Like, and the tone of those sort of stories where like blundering parents who give up on things really quickly are like, think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, it's a very similar vibe. But yeah, rushes into the ending, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, and I didn't like remember that she basically controls her powers in the last 20 minutes.
Right, that surprised me too. I was like, oh, it really takes this long?
Okay, so we didn't really get into it, I don't think, maybe not directly, but what do you think about Bruce eating the cake? Like, watching it as an adult.
Oh my God. Okay, I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. I remember that scene. Okay, as an adult, it was less upsetting than I thought it would be, because it is like child horror, that whole scene. And I think that scene is probably the most impactful thing of the whole movie, like for the average viewer. For non-thirsty lesbians.
You mean for thirsty lesbians, it would be
It would,
not.
no.
It would be not notable for them.
No, it would be less notable for thirsty lesbians because you already know what the highlight was.
I mean, that outfit she wears at the end was really good. Like, that was like my aesthetic. The overalls with the pink shirt and the...
It is very, I'm dressed up as a character from Arthur.
What?
I feel like that's an outfit you wear if you're a character on Arthur.
I guess so.
Okay, rapid fire question. Who's your favorite Arthur character? You're thinking about it too hard. Go.
I don't know. What's yours?
Muffy Crosswire.
No, she's a little bitch.
She is a little bitch. I honestly don't even really mean that much. I just wanted to walk the walk. It's probably actually DW, but the name Muffy Crosswire is just so good.
My favorite's probably Buster.
Buster?
Yeah, he's
Why?
so cute. He's so cute.
He's pretty cute. I'll give you that.
He always has pure intentions. Like, I feel like Arthur, sometimes he will...
Arthur's a little shit.
He will let his demons win, and he will learn by the end of the episode.
And Buster doesn't.
By the end of the episode, he does learn.
Oh my god.
But...
Arthur's got demons, is what you're saying.
He does. He's always struggling. He's always fighting for his life. And then Buster's just like, I'm going to go eat with my mom now. You chose books. I chose looks.
She's an kind of an unsung hero for that type. Like, she's very, it reminds me of Jennifer Coolidge as the stepmom in Cinderella's story.
It's that nuanced. It's that genius of a performance. The aesthetic is well thought out and stylized to perfection. So, yeah, I think she's
the fact
underrated.
That she and Danny DeVito are actually married in real life makes it all the better. Okay, one thing we haven't talked about. How do you feel about young Mara Wilson saying, "Call me Ishmael"? How does that make you feel?
I think I just didn't know what she was talking about. Also, like, why is Moby Dick the choice? Like, that's not what I would gravitate towards personally.
I don't know. I wonder how many girls out there, not girls, maybe one of the girls out there was like, I'm going to read Charles Dickens now because Matilda reads Charles Dickens.
I mean, I'm positive that has happened. I, however, was too lazy. I was like, I would rather just stare at a cereal box and pretend that it's moving.
For a second, I thought you meant staring at the back of a cereal box as your reading substitution.
Well, that was too.
Same.
Like the little scavenger hunt mini game things on the back of the Captain Crunch
Oh my
box.
god, yes.
Fruity Pebbles.
Dude, I would do anything for just a little bit of milk and a crunchy spoonful of Fruity Pebbles right about now. I wanted to rip up the roof of my mouth.
Never forget when Captain Crunch made me bleed. You don't remember that? That was like my catchphrase.
I remember it, but like give me more detail because I can't fully remember.
I don't know what I could not tell you a single thing
Crunch
about it.
Made me bleed. You should get a t-shirt that says that.
It was just like, if you start crunching on that shit too fast before it has a chance to sog in the milk, then you are asking to be assaulted. Like, if you just can't go in too fast, it just starts scraping up your mouth and I bled.
That is really impressive.
I was going for speed.
Maybe when that was the goal. Top speeds of eating Captain Crunch. Wow.
What do you think, like, that Matilda is a dumbass for going back to the house. She literally directly disobeys Miss Honey.
Well, no. Because Miss Honey says, tell me you'll never go in that house again. And
Yeah,
she says,
I know. Semantics, okay?
Okay, but she didn't
Matilda's a little
break the rule.
smart ass.
Danny DeVito was right.
Yeah.
She is a little smart ass, but I don't think she did the wrong thing. Technically, she got away with it. I also thought it was very convenient that Trunchbull was highly superstitious.
Yeah. Like, this woman would not be superstitious.
I mean, maybe she would.
Usually.
Do you think that she's a lesbian? Why can't we speculate about the sexuality of the Trunchbull?
I don't know.
Why are we only speculating about Miss Honey? It's because pretty privilege. Period.
Yeah, basically.
Like, maybe the Trunchbull is the way she is because she was a powerful, talented
She's
young
repressed.
lesbian. And no one would accept her for who she really was. Would I be annoyed too? Probably.
Also, let's be fucking honest. You saw that portrait of Maximus. He looks like a dick. Like, he was not nice. This man was not nice. What if he was homophobic and he was bullying Agatha for her entire childhood? And then she's like, okay, lit. Now I get his house and I get to benefit from this asshole's legacy.
Well, also,
and then
they do insinuate that she murdered his ass.
Well, maybe he deserved
Maybe he
it.
did. We don't know.
Hurt people hurt people.
As demonstrated by her putting children in the chokey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Willy-nilly, children in the
Can
chokey.
Agatha not be rehabilitated?
I was about to say the same thing. Can the Trunchbull not be rehabilitated?
No death penalty for Agatha Trunchbull.
Like, imagine she gets rehabilitated and becomes like the local butch like contractor.
Shot put instructor.
Like, she's strong. She could do some serious community care with those muscles. How would you rehabilitate Agatha Trunchbull? What would your first step be?
First step, therapy.
Deep therapy.
And
Do you think sports therapy is a thing?
A massage and a facial.
Especially
and
facial.
Like getting her hair brushed or something.
Brushed. ASMR, Agatha Trunchbull gets her hair brushed. We unpacked the chokey.
Yeah.
Did she hand make the chokey? That's another thing I want to know. Was she down there? What, the chokey or her?
No, she needs some TLC.
You're really right. I thought for a second you were saying like the TLC needs to come in and like revamp the chokey.
TLC would make a show about like, I don't know, chokey build. Like, you remember the Move That Truck show? What show was that?
Extreme Home Makeover?
Yeah, but
The
like
Move That
chokey
Truck
edition.
show. Extreme Makeover Chokey edition. Oh my god.
That doesn't even make sense.
Rehabilitating Trunchbull as a reality series.
Yeah, like Mama June Mama June not to hot or whatever.
What? I know what you mean. It would just be like that.
Like, backtracking to what is it? Extreme
Home Makeover.
Extreme Home Makeover Chokey
AKA
edition.
Move That Truck.
It's actually like, have you ever seen Scare Tactics? It's just like a show where they make people think they're in scary situations and then they're like, haha, you're not.
So exactly what Matilda does to her.
Yes.
Got it.
So there can also be an immersive Matilda themed Scare Tactics
Oh my god.
series.
There's so much potential coming from this.
You know what else I actually thought? I was like, who owns this? Who owns Matilda right now? Because somebody needs to snatch up those theme park rights. Somebody needs to make a dark ride stat, because it literally, the movie is a ride. It like is a dark ride.
That's true. There's a lot of stuff that happens in like physical space, like lots of going up and down.
Yeah, there's levels to it. There's chases. There's these fun, like, practical effects that they could do really well, like the chalk and the erasers, like, attacking her and stuff. Like,
wow, you're so right. Here's my question:
an Imagineer.
When are we gonna be able to become Imagineers?
I don't know, because here's the thing: like, between you, me, and Hunter, it's like Hunter and I are coming up with ride ideas all the time.
A Roald Dahl theme park, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda. That would be sick.
It would be so creepy.
It would, but it would be awesome. Or
they can even do it for Halloween.
I was just about to say, if it was like a Halloween Horror Night situation and they make that the theme.
Yeah, that seems a little more appropriate. But I think if there was a world, it would like a land of it, it also would work. I don't think it would be like, I don't think people would not go, but
yeah,
it is spooky. And with kids, you have to play it safe. Like, they would have to just do sections where it's not scary.
That's true. Like tiered sections, basically.
Yeah.
Or like child-friendly scary, like kind of how we were talking about earlier. Like, children experience fear. It's not that they can't handle fear.
I gotta say, I was the child that could not.
I was actually, once you said I gotta say, I knew what you were gonna say. And that is true.
The Blockbuster Goofy decal, yeah.
Have we ever talked about that?
I don't think so. Basically, there was like a, I don't know, maybe 6 foot tall sticker of Goofy in the front entrance of our local Blockbuster. And my little child self, I couldn't walk past it. This is a sticker. This is a flat sticker on the wall
of Goofy.
I literally of Goofy making a Goofy face, if you will. And I couldn't even walk past it. What was going on?
I remember Dad carrying you through that.
Like, what was going on in my head? That is delusional. Because to me, it's like, if a kid is scared of like Spirit Halloween or like things that will move, I think that has more bearing. It makes more sense.
Holds water.
Yeah, that holds water. And I was terrified of Spirit Halloween. Like,
yeah, I remember like not being scared of stuff, but then you were so scared of it that I was like, shit, should I be scared of this? Like, I got like secondhand fear. Like, I especially had that with dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Because Audrey was so scared of dogs and I like wasn't. But then Audrey would like have this vibe as if she was about to get like beat down in an alley every time she would see a dog.
I had to get anxiety trained to be
Exposure
okay.
therapy.
Yeah, I had to like be okay around dogs. And the point is, I was scared of absolutely everything, but not Matilda, shockingly. Okay, so is Matilda worthwhile?
Absolutely.
I think so.
It's so good, especially the first half is like perfect.
Yeah, I think it does have some structural issues in the last quarter, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a kids movie, and like they do probably want to. They want a happy ending, and you're kind of not sure that's gonna happen. Like if I was a child watching that, I'd be like, which I was. I'd be like, can this get happy?
I think that this movie, again, as we said in the first half, the fact that it does not condescend to its audience with the kids is really, really cool. Danny DeVito, I wish he directed more stuff because he was like the perfect director for this project.
Yeah, he seems good with kids.
So Matilda, great movie. And it's hard to shit on it at all, which we normally do because it is so good.
That's a good season finale. We can be positive.
And with that, season 5 is complete.
as always, let us know if there are movies we have not done yet that you really, really, really want to see. And honestly, like, maybe even give us a reason. Like, give us a reason to do it. And again, we really, really would love a review from you, especially now that the season is over. 15% off on a phone case. Casetify.
Yeah,
guys.
right.
The links are everywhere. And I am severely enjoying my
Severely enjoying. Same. Yeah, 15 sleepover is the code. We will not be gone for long because, as you know, this train never stops, but we're taking a little stop. Just a little.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if you want to keep chatting with us or hearing our voices via text, join our Discord. We have 60 people in it now, which is really cool. So please join us and then we can be friends.
You can find more from us at evergreenpodcast.com/sleepover-cinema and keep up with our latest creative projects at twopinkpictures.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Sleepover Cinema and post a full video version of each episode on YouTube every Thursday. You can follow me, Audrey, at Audriana Leach on everything.
You can follow me, Hannah, at Hannah Ray Leach on everything.
You can check out our merch still on sale, of course, at twopinkpictures.com/shop. We have t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers, posters,
hats. Shout out to Matt McCroskey, listener, for his rocking of the hat. It looks so good. Sleepover Cinema is a production of Evergreen Podcasts, produced, edited, and engineered by us, Hannah and Audrey Leach. Sleepover Cinema is mixed by Sean Rule Hoffman with theme music by Josh Perlman Hall. Our executive producer is Michael D'Aloia.
We'll see you next season.
Bye.
Bye.